It's been an hour, and the pasta, both the regular and the tomato, are ready to be used. They're nice and smooth, they're nice and elastic. They're going to be a little stickier than when we put them in the refrigerator. So we're going to want to flour our countertop. Where we're working here. And put out our dough. We're just going to pat it out to about a ½ inch thick. Get plenty of flour on the outside so it's not sticky anymore. Now we'd like a nice wide sheet, so I'm just going to cut this in half. And as much as possible, I want to square it up. So basically what I want is a little ½ inch thick square that looks like that. Do the same with my tomato pasta. You can see it's a lot redder. It's also just a little stickier for whatever reason. It seems it made just a little bit more dough than the plain pasta did. So I think I might cut it in 3 pieces. All about that size. So there we are. Pull this one a little wider. And there. So now our dough is ready for the roller. I own the 3 roller set. It does a flat sheet of pasta that's good for anything from lasagna to making pot stickers, pierogi, ravioli, anything like that. Then the next one is, so that is the flat roller. And it's got an adjustable knob on the outside that goes from 1 to 8. I like to set it way out as far open as it can get, and you can see that on the camera. So I try to get it as far open as possible when I'm doing it the first time. Then there is the fettuccine cutter. It cuts about a 1/4 inch wide noodle. And the spaghetti cutter, which is going to cut a spaghetti width noodle. First thing we're going to do is, like I said, get rid of the bowl. I'm going to remove the attachment knob, try not to lose it. Then we're going to put this in. We're going to rock it until the tab is hooked into the side and you're going to tighten the knob. It's essential when you're making this that you put the lock head on, because otherwise this thing's really going to jump because it's working. We're not going to put it on a really high speed. We're going to put, now remember I said I'm going to go between the 1 and the 8, about halfway. That's as wide as it gets. And I call it 0, but there is thing. So we're going to turn it on to about 4. And we're going to feed each piece through twice. Once in each direction. So I'm going to put it back in the direction it did not come from. I do this to get the dough kneaded, basically. The dough gets, if you try to just do once, it's going to be not very smooth. So I try to put it through a second time to make it smoother. It's not going to make it any flatter, it's just going to make it a little, like I say, smoother. All the dough's now been through the roller twice. I'm just going to flour it a little bit to make sure it's not too sticky. And I'm going to change my setting to the actual 1. That's the widest numbered setting. You'll notice that the dough gets longer after each time it goes through here. The dough now is about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's pretty thick to use for anything right now. We're going to put it on 2 now. If you like a nice thick fettuccine noodle, this is a good thickness to end on. Pierogi, if I'm making pierogi, I like this, or maybe sometimes to a 3. If you're making egg rolls, you might go 1 thinner, but it just depends on what you like. It's kind of trial and error, and it depends also on your dough. If your dough is super stiff, you might run it through another size. Now if you want a thinner dough, you can go 1 more run to 3, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's a little more see-through. This thing will go clear to 8. I have never in my life run anything all the way to 8. I have no idea what I would want to go that thin. 3 or 4 is about as thin as I go. And now you can see this one's a little more transparent because it's the 3 thickness. Okay, I'm going to push aside the extra pieces that I've left at 2 here, and I'm going to cut this piece in half. Now we're going to take off the roller. I just loosen the screw, wiggle it out, and it's done. To clean it, basically use a brush. Clean it all off with a brush. Do not immerse it in water. Do not wash it. If it's got sticky stuff on it from whatever you've done, let it dry, brush it off. Do not put it in the dishwasher, and do not wash it. Now, we'll start first with the head that's the fettuccine head. Exactly like the other head, I'm going to take it, put it in, and I'm going to turn it till the notch attaches. What that was. And I'm going to turn the knob. Now, there's no adjustment on this one. It's this thickness and this thickness only. So we're going to turn it on. And we're going to feed your sheet of pasta through. Just like that, you have a beautiful 1/4 inch wide fettuccine that's perfect for any kind of a fettuccine type meal. If you want to dry it, you can do that now. You could freeze it. I recommend drying it for a little while even before you freeze it. You could lay it on the counter with a little bit of flour if you're going to eat it shortly. Remember, when you cook this, it's going to cook in a lot shorter time than commercial pasta. So I'm just going to hang it over, I have misplaced my dryer, so I'm just going to hang it over some skewers and hang it in a Tupperware container that I've got. Now, for the sake of this video, we're just going to go to spaghetti. Normally you wouldn't make half your pasta in fettuccine and half in spaghetti, but that's what we're going to do. So same as the last time, rock it in there, get the tab in the hole, and tighten. Turn the machine on to about 4. Now we're going to feed it through. And you're going to have these beautiful spaghetti noodles that are, they'll really need to be dried, like I said, but they're just perfect for a spaghetti meal. These will have a slightly tomato taste and have just a pretty color to them. At this point, we'll take both of the fettuccine and the spaghetti units out. I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to brush it off. If there's anything caught in the spikes here, let it dry. Let it dry and brush it again. Do not immerse in water. Do not wash it in the dishwasher. And there you have it. Easy maintenance, easy to use, very versatile. I would recommend it as my favorite attachment on my KitchenAid.